Hey guys, I want a buttery. What is a buttery? Well, a buttery is something that started in medieval times with a basement that was full of food supplies to feed to guests that would come visit the monastery. And they would call the guy who took care of the buttery the butler. That's where we get those words from. But in primitive decor, a buttery is something totally different. It's usually more akin with a keeping room. It's kind of your food supplies. And in primitive decor, of course, it's full of bowls and firkins and dried flowers and gourds and dried fruits and all kinds of things that they would be keeping in the house in the colonial days to feed themselves. So in a sense, it's a pantry. I have the perfect place for a buttery, and I'm going to turn it into one. Let's take a look first at some samples of butteries, and then we're going to figure out how to make this area into a buttery. So I'm going to go in here and show you what I have in Pinterest. So here's the things I recently pinned. They were all very primitive, very old, buttery kinds of looking things. So if we go to something like this, that would be a buttery. You could see it's got shelves and they've got some crocks and baskets, and they even have the sign buttery in case you didn't know what it was. So that's kind of fun. A buttery could contain something like this, which actually is a carved out bowl, carved right out of the wood of a tree. I think that's so cool. Buttery would also be pretty old and dark. Here's another example of a buttery. Again, everything earthy, just sitting on the shelves. Most really cool primitive butteries, of course, are going to have that old earthen tone to it. Just everything is wood, cutting boards. You got the gourds, you've got some buckets, and you can see they just be storing their stuff in the buckets. And there's a butter churner up there. But anyway, that would be what a buttery would look like. It would be just like a big cabinet, closet, full of old, cool collections. Now, I don't have collections for the most part. I go cheap, but I want the look without spending the money. All right, we're gonna start with this area. And since I don't want to paint this right now, for a myriad of reasons, but one is I just don't have the energy to paint this whole thing right now. And because I might change my mind and not want a buttery and I might want it to have more of a farmhouse look, I am going to leave this cleanly painted the way it is, and I'm just gonna stuff it full of old items to try to make it look more like a buttery. So the first thing that has to go is this fresh produce sign is not. Much more farmhouse. So I'm just gonna like show all kinds of the damaged, the junky, and try to get everything in here. This doesn't really fit, but I'm just gonna start sticking some stuff in here and see what I can do. Now I have these, I love these. I picked these up at Woodstock Country Shop. Lots of your country decorating stores have these, and they're super cool because you can just stuff them in and give that old look. So, salt, maybe the gingerbread men can go right here. Yeah, liking that. This is a little annoying that I can't get that in, so I'm gonna kind of do that. Good. I love this. This really has to go in. It doesn't really fit. Let's just get some. They're looking really full. That makes it look more haphazard placement and not so neat and orderly, I think, would be a good idea here. Right. Put that there. I mean, the more crowded, the less you're going to see all the white in the background, and that's going to be a little better. I have another one of these. I think I'll put that there. We've got boards, we've got wood bowls. There, looks like coffee. I love things like that. Another great thing is crates. Now this is my favorite crate because it was delivered to my grandpa and it has his name on it and his address. This is when he lived on Kalamazoo Ave in Grand Rapids, Michigan, which means he was just a young guy. It's from a publishing company, which means that some of his books from seminary were shipped to him in this. So this is a really cool piece, and it can go up there and give me more witty look. But I like that. If I want to keep these up because I don't feel like taking them down, I can push them a little closer together and fill that space in with something else that'll fit. These, I've already checked the scale, that's too big. So let's just stick him here or here. You know, have some fun with it. I like that. This is bothering me. The green is just bothering me right now. So I'm gonna put these a little closer and I have this crock from Elaine. I think I'll bring that here because it kind of ties in with all the crock themes, and that's the first thing you're gonna see. I'm pillaging all my other displays for this. And I think that fits in there. Pretty much good enough. That's a cutting board, and then I had a smaller one I can put with that one. Just to make it look like a collection. We have been cutting on these cutting boards. All right, patina is good. I really wish I could just stick that in there, but it's a little bit too big. I could stick that down there, move the sign over to another place. Or I can layer. What do we want to layer? Let's layer. Haphazard look, I like that. There, see how I'm layering everything? It's getting crowded in, it's layered, it's gonna look like messy, but because everything is earth toned, it's browns, it's orangey colors, you know, everything is just very earth toned, and so it looks old, it looks layered, but the truth is I haven't spent a lot on this. Like even these guys, I think I spent like $13 on some of these. Some of these came when we bought the house, they left them for us. But others of these I've just picked up as cheap as possible. I might have spent the most on this. I spent $28 on this. But if you got one of these in really good shape, it would be a whole lot more expensive. So everything is cheap. These things are cheap. They're like $13, $10, and they really help add to this. In fact, as I'm looking at this, I'd love to have a few more of them. So everything is just kind of coming together, loving it. We don't really need this here. I like the look of this wood. Now these are from TJ Maxx. You know, they weren't that expensive. $7.99. This one I think was $6.99. $4.99. I spent $4.99 for this. And yeah, I could probably have Tom go out and cut some of these, but aren't they nice? And they just give that total earthen look. So we're gonna like put one back here. Got some dried tansy. Just layered in. Layer, layer, layer. Yes. All right, let's go through this. Because I wanted to not paint and I wanted to cover up all the white, I crowded everything in here. So there are bowls and pitchers and all kinds of things, maybe made of fabric, things that look like baked goods, dried kind of arrangements, boards, cutting boards, apple butter, anything real and natural made it to these 4 shelves. And it looks really great, I think. I think it looks like a buttery. It's wonderful. And then over here, just to give a little bit more definition, I put my birdhouses up there, and there it is. Not bad for a couple hours work. What do you think, Tom?
It's good. Yeah, totally different look and feel.
Yeah, totally.